Finland, a tree hugger's paradise. There was a time felling trees involved lunatics in check shirts hacking through trunks with a saw before running like the clappers. But felling enough trees by hand these days would mean every man, woman, child and small mammal becoming a lumberjack, leaving no time for anyone to pen their next Eurovision entry. So for music's sake, it's just as well they've got these. Lumberjack robots. Their lust for timber is unstoppable, so sensitive tree hugger types may like to cover their eyes. Because what you're about to witness isn't pretty. First, the cutter head grips the trunk with two rotating steel rollers. A chainsaw spinning at 40 meters a second, then slices through trunks up to 65 centimeters thick. Next, 4 hydraulically operated delimbing knives and 1 fixed knife trim the trunk, which is fed through the blades with a force of 3,500 pounds per square inch. And hey presto, what was once the pride of the forest is brought down to size in a matter of seconds, without the operator even having to break sweat. Weighing almost 20 tons, these mechanical monsters gobble up around 70 million cubic meters of timber every year. That's enough wood to fill Wembley Stadium over 17 times. To find out how they pack all this muscle into such a cute-looking beast, we're taking a trip to the John Deere factory, 440 kilometres northeast of Helsinki. Here in this huge 19,000 square metre factory, they build almost 1,000 of these highly specialised robots every year. In all, the harvester and head has over 2,000 components and takes 400 people 11 days to assemble. They can muscle their way around wet and uneven ground without sinking or toppling over, while the 10-metre boom arm is able to withstand incredible stresses as it rips up entire trees. But the cleverest bit of all is, of course, the cutter head. At £35,000 a pop, they don't come cheap, and each one is rigorously tested to check the hydraulics and to make sure it responds to orders from the control unit. Obviously, the last thing they want is a robot with steel teeth running amok around the factory. So Hans here says clap, and Robojack claps. But it's one thing behaving yourself in the comfort of your own production line, and quite another to strut your stuff in sub-zero temperatures. So it's on with the leotard and leg warmers and into the Robojack gym. This is where the newly built Robo Lumberjacks are really put through their paces. The man with the role of sadistic gym master is Petri Pitkinen, who pushes each of his pupils to the limits of their strength and endurance. And whilst it's tough for his pupils, for Petri, it's more like a glorified computer game.
Harvester testing is great fun. So you are like a jet pilot. You have plenty of functions and plenty of buttons here and big widescreen PC.
It's a tough regime in the gym, and only the strongest survive. Petri needs to ensure every aspect of the computer-controlled hydraulics and cutting mechanisms are working correctly before the time comes for the only test that really matters.
Of course, you know what these machines are like. They look lovely in the factory and they work just fine when they test them out in the car park. But take them home and let the kids have a go and they last about 5 minutes. Felling trees is one of the most dangerous activities known to man. So will these robot lumberjacks cut the mustard?
When it ventures into the wilds, the first problem for the Robojack is to work out which neck of the woods it's in. If you've ever wandered into a forest, you'll know how disorientating it can be. Rather unhelpfully, all the landmarks are trees. Fortunately, the Robojack has the benefit of a built-in sat-nav, and with a wink and a nod at a passing satellite, it can tell the driver exactly where he is to the nearest squirrel. What's more, thanks to the onboard computer, the timber mill is constantly kept up to date with how much wood he's felling, so there's no chance to skive. Every day, each machine will snaffle 1,000 trees before a second machine, called a forwarder, steps in to tidy up. Even with a robot to help you, being a lumberjack remains a tough job, requiring 3 years training at forestry school, followed by a further 5 years apprenticeship. So if you really love the forest, what could be better than to spend all day cutting it down?
I wouldn't do anything but this. I love the freedom and to be alone in the forest.
By now, tree huggers everywhere will be weeping into their miso soup. But there is a happy ending, because as fast as the Robojacks chop the trees down, even more are being planted. In Finland alone, over 170 million every year. The system works so well that there are now a third more trees in Europe than there were before the Second World War. So while forest lovers raise a cup of Ayurvedic tea to celebrate, as the temperature drops and darkness falls, I think it's time for me to log off.